Hey folks, so I'm out here on a cold, rainy day, and I wanted to do a quick video about horse blanketing. So the things you need to check for, it is imperative when you have blanketed your horse, okay, that you check it on a regular basis. So this, I got Shakespeare here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to put it under his sheet, his blanket here, and I'm going to feel to see if his coat is dry or wet under there. I felt it, it's warm, it's dry. Now granted right here, this blanket is not a perfect fit for him, but so he is a little wet here, but I'm not worried about that. The bulk of his body is warm and dry under this coat. So the other thing you want to check are all your buckles to make sure that they are still intact. You want to check underneath the horse to make sure that there's not too much slack here on these belly straps, because if this were too loose, that were like hanging down to here, when he rolls, he could get his leg caught in it and he could really get hung up. So, and you also want to kind of like check behind the horse, like, are your leg straps correct? Are they still intact? Are they getting too stretched out? Do you need to tighten them again? Make sure that they're not too crazy loose where they could get a leg under them. And just overall check the fit, make sure there's no rips or tears in it or anything that looks weird. And if the blanket is wet and it's not waterproof and they are wet underneath, you need to take that blanket off that horse. You would actually be better off letting your horse just be wet than be wet under a blanket, because it really messes up their heat regulation when they are wet underneath a blanket. Best case scenario, pull that blanket off, dry your horse by putting like a fleece cooler on them or something, or towel dry them, put them in a stall, put them under a covered arena, whatever you can do to get them dried off, then put a fresh, clean blanket on them. A little bit of dampness is obviously going to happen, but like he's a little damp around up where it meets his neck, but he's dry for the most part. And I also just checked True, and I just checked Wyatt as well. So they both are dry and warm underneath their coats. And what I've done is when I feed them in temperatures like this, I always make sure that I water their grain down a ton. I put it in a bucket, I soak it, and then I pour it, and you can see that True is lapping up all that water with her grain. And the great thing about that is horses do not drink as much when it is cold and rainy like this. So I need to make sure that they're ingesting enough water so that we don't have to worry about colic. So I always give them extra water in their grain. I always soak their grain with a lot of extra water until it almost gets soupy like that. And that way I know that they are ingesting, a decent amount of water. My horses have never had a problem drinking. They're very, hi sweetheart, they're very good about drinking, but I always try to give them extra water in their grain, especially this time of year when it's starting to turn cold and they're not going to the creek as much. If you think this helps, please like, share, bookmark, and comment, and then this can help some other people. But I am freezing. I'm going to get out of this rain, and just wanted to give you guys that update. All right, thanks. Bye.